Good morning, everyone, and welcome to episode 49 of Builders Talk. I hope you all had a really good long Easter weekend, and I know some builders probably took a couple of extra days either side of that as well. I know that my husband has. He's coming back to work tomorrow, heading down to Sydney. He's headed down to Sydney to catch up with his family, which obviously a lot of people probably did the same thing because they've been stuck in different states and not being able to see their family. So hopefully they'll come back with the kids, had a good time and ready to plough back into work tomorrow. So everyone's been talking about how difficult it is in their business at the moment, and not just in the building industry, but also anyone that has a business. You know, people are finding it hard to keep motivated to do the work, finding it hard to keep pushing forward. And they're finding it hard to do what I call the boring work. And often the boring work is the work that needs to get done. It might not be exciting, but it still has to be done. And I'm usually battling with my husband, the builder, to keep up with quoting. You know, no one wants to do it, but the reality is that that is the one thing that brings work into your business. So we often get stuck in doing the work, you know, and that at the end of the day is not necessarily the work that'll keep the business ticking. Yes, you've got to do the building work. That's the product that you are delivering as such to the client, and you need to keep that moving along. But you also can't neglect the stuff that keeps the business moving as far as keeping work coming in the door to flow that through to the building site. So often the jobs that we, I guess, don't want to do are the ones that will give us the results that we are looking for in our business. Example would be, you know, getting quotes back to clients quickly in a timely manner probably gives us the motivation and causes us less stress because we, you know that we have work coming down the pipeline to keep our business going. But you might find often that you go through waves of quoting and not quoting because we often wait until we need the work before we might move forward with some quoting of our jobs. You know, the client's sitting around waiting for a quote, and if another builder is getting that quote back to them, you know, or you're not communicating with that client to let them know where you're up to in that process, they might choose to go with another builder. So it is a very delicate balancing act. And I know that if we do more, we would have more, meaning we often put things off till we need them and we're giving away that work. And if you're not getting the results in your business that you're after, such as bringing more money in or, you know, making more money, getting a better profit, it's often because we're waiting until we need to do that thing before we're actually doing it. So a lesson I learned last week in relation to ordering of supplies, I guess, is something that slowed our progress down on site, which delayed us getting our money to keep our business moving. And that's the boring work. You know, you sort of think, I've ordered something. The person at the other end of that order is got the order and now they're doing their job. They're going and doing their thing, going and getting that order and sending it out to us. But at the moment, I'm finding that other people are not necessarily effectively doing the boring work either. So now I'm finding I'm having to call suppliers a few minutes after I've emailed the order through to confirm that they have my order and they're processing it. And I have a bit of a chat to say, let me know if there's any issues or any delays. So you get off the phone, you think everything's okay. Then it's not until the builder needs that thing on site that I get a phone call from him saying, did you not order that thing? I'm like, yes, I did order that thing. But I'd followed up that it had been ordered. I even received a confirmation from the supplier to say the order had been confirmed. So you assume it's on its way, but something that has then happened in the meantime that order then wasn't shipped out to us. So it's not until the builder needs it, you know, no one's followed up on it prior to us needing it. So now that's delayed the progress on site, which delays our payment. So we have to look at some of the things that I guess we might see as that's someone else's job. But at the end of the day, we as the builder are the ones that cop the flack or are the ones that get delayed, that can't get our money because we haven't necessarily followed up with that person who we might think we shouldn't have had to follow up with. But at the moment, everyone's business is under pressure and things are falling through the cracks. So we need to be more wary of, what can we do in our business to make sure that our business doesn't get affected and keeps flowing forward. And, it's not until that order didn't show up and it becomes urgent that it was a problem. So then everyone's in a mad panic trying to find out where the thing is and what's happened. So, and that was an example where a splashback had been ordered in March. Come April when we needed it, there was no splashback. Go back, find the order confirmation, ring the supplier. No, the product's not on back order. They have plenty of stock. Don't know what happened. We'll send it out tomorrow. Stock still doesn't come in a week later. So we ring back again. Where's this stock? I don't know. It's gone into a black hole again. We'll force print it out back to the factory and finally it shows up. And same thing with another order. Didn't show up. Called the supplier. They were actually closed at the time. And then the rep called me and said, you're going to go over your credit limit if we send this supply out. And I sort of said, well, that doesn't sound right, because I had paid my account at the end of the month. And I said, how much is the invoice for? And she said, $14,000. And I said, no, something's wrong. It's normally only $2,000 or $3,000. So I ring then through to the sales area. Someone's keyed in 200 of the product that we ordered instead of 20. So luckily it got captured by my credit limit not being enough. Otherwise we would have had $14,000 worth of stock shipped out to us that would have taken us, probably a year to use and affected our cash flow. And yes, they would have had to have taken that product back or would have sent it back. It was clearly an error made on their behalf. But it's prompted me to put in a new system to not only ring the supplier to ensure they've received the order, but then also diarise to follow up that we have then received the order into our, factory. But that is the difficult part. Some things go to the factory, some things go to site. So to actually then, find out from someone, especially when it's gone to site, if that thing's been received is difficult. So that would probably mean also I would have to make a phone call back to the supplier to see if they've actually shipped that product out. So there is a lot more steps we can add into our business that would, I guess, stop things from happening that affect us at the other end, but we believe that it's the boring work and we don't need to do it. So, it's the end user that gets hit the hardest. So we have to do the work that does matter first. We have to, I guess, fill up our days. I guess we fill up our days with stuff that is maybe not a priority, and we're not deliberately choosing to do the things that will keep our pipeline of work coming in and the work going out. So if the work's not going out, going out part, which is, the splash hasn't showed up, we can't hand the house over to the client, we can't get our money, things aren't flowing well, we don't get paid, and that's a balancing act. So we need to try and fill our days with the most important stuff. And the most important stuff that I see we need to do to keep moving our business is capturing clients. So, getting clients in through our door that we can quote for, we can work on, we can convert them into the clients. And the more clients you've got coming through your door that you're capturing gives you the ability to sift through and decide on which ones you want to work with, rather than waiting till you really need the work and the next person that walks through the door, you're going to love on them so much, and that's the client that you need to get. That turns out that client is not the best client for you. And if you had been doing the boring work before and making sure that you had everyone coming in and sifting through them, it would make your life easier. So then obviously converting them with your offer or the promise you're making to them, and that is, that you will build them this home for this much money. So obviously this would be detailed in the specifications and contract, and then delivering your promise to that client. As I said, the more clients you can capture, and the quicker you can convert them, and the quicker then you can deliver that promise, their home, typically the more money that you'll make. So what systems do you need to install in your business that will ensure that these actions will, I guess, keep the business flowing and keep your pipeline flowing quickly rather than dripping? Right now everything feels like it's dripping. and this is costing you money. Take some time out to see where those drips are. Fix those drips and get the things flowing faster again. So if you need help identifying the drips in your business, get in contact with me via booking a chat via my website, angescott.com.au. And until next week, keep powering your business.